Hello and welcome to 2021 Esri Developer Summit for the session ArcGIS AppStudio What's New. I'm Erwin Sukianto, Product Engineer, and I have with me Shobna Suresh, Software Development Engineer. In this session, we are going to start with a brief introduction of AppStudio and then list of new features that we have in AppStudio Template, Player, underlying ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Qt, AppStudio Desktop, AppStudio Framework, and a sneak peek into new features. So, what is ArcGIS AppStudio? Before I begin to answer this question, this is a good segue to promote the other AppStudio session, ArcGIS AppStudio an Introduction, that will talk more in detail on what is ArcGIS AppStudio. But if I were to put it in one sentence, what is ArcGIS App Studio? It is a solution for creating native apps. It is a no-code, low-code solution, meaning we have several templates where you can create a native app with no or very little coding. And you're going to create a cross-platform native apps. So you're only going to create one app, one code base for all the platform, including iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Ubuntu Linux. App Studio is not just one tool, it is a suite of productivity tools. We have App Studio Desktop. This is going to be the main application that you would use. Inside App Studio Desktop, we have over 80 samples that would show you every single functionality in App Studio, and you can take a look at the source code of the sample. We have configurable templates. As of today, we have 4 templates. You can rebrand and customize this template with no or little coding and make it your own native app. We have advanced template. These are the source code of Esri created app with App Studio, such as Survey123, Quick Capture, and App Studio Player itself. With the installation of AppStudio Desktop, it comes pre-installed with a developer environment, Qt Creator, where you can manage the source code of the AppStudio app. We also have AppStudio Player. This is probably the most useful tool in AppStudio. AppStudio Player lets you play your app without the needs to make a build or installation of the app. It is like a web browser for AppStudio app. And recently, we have made some changes and a growing usage of AppStudio Player as a way to distribute AppStudio app without going to the App Store. And last, the CloudMake. If you want to create an installation file and publish your app to the App Store, you don't need to have all the build machine for each platform. You can use our CloudMake server to create this installation file for you. Okay, let's talk about what's new in AppStudio templates. We have a brand new attachment viewer template. It is referencing an existing attachment viewer configurable web app. Many of the apps built with AppStudio put map front and center as the primary focus of the app. The attachment viewer is a little bit different. It is media focused. It is for situation when you want to emphasize the data and more specifically the media attachment. This template provides simple user experience to review media attachment, attribute information, and feature layer location in a map. The use cases for the app includes quickly review photo of the field asset, image-based map tour of a city or historic place of interest, review documents like PDF, Word document, or PowerPoint that are tied to a location, for example, property information or building sketches. We encourage you to go and check it out. And to learn more, please see the blog link I attach in the bottom of the slide. And just recently, working together with Missing Children Society of Canada and Esri Canada, we have published MCSC Rescue Mobile in both Apple App Store and Google Play Store. It gives the information about the list of current missing children and their information and their last known location. This app is based on the new attachment viewer template. Moving on to what's new in Map Viewer template. The Map Viewer template is the most popular configurable template provided by ArcGIS AppStudio. One of the most requested features to be added in Map Viewer is editing. We have added a new editing capability into the Map Viewer that includes editing feature attributes, attachments, and related records. Editing capability opens the map viewer to a wide variety of new use cases, such as asset maintenance and feature inspection. For example, water utility inspection for hydrants and valves, street sign inspection for condition and reflectivity inspection, and proof of work or repairs by updating a photo attachment. To learn more, I have attached a blog post in the bottom of the slide that explains the editing capability in Map Viewer and how to set it up. The other new feature in Map Viewer that I want to highlight is offline map area. Map Viewer supports online web map and offline mobile map packages. In addition, we have extended the ability to take maps offline by supporting pre-planned maps area. Map area allows you to package data from a specific area of a web map to make it easier and faster to download maps for offline use. You can use ArcGIS Online or Enterprise to easily create offline map areas, then download the map area in the Map Viewer apps to view layer and features when you are in disconnected environment. On top of that, we have also added the support for offline routing. This is a brand new functionality which allows user to display route between two locations, including turn-by-turn direction in offline mode. These two locations could be addresses or features. This location can also be searched within the layer of the mobile map packages. For this to function, an MPK must support the transportation dataset in order to calculate the route, which is indicated by a direction icon in the Map Viewer toolbar while exploring the MMPK. For example, here's a screenshot displaying route and turn-by-turn direction between a feature based on the attribute value and an address. As you can see, it displayed the actual route along with the turn-by-turn direction and the approximate distance. Based on popular requests, we are adding another new functionality, which is to take snapshot of your current map view. You can take multiple screenshots at a time, as long as the total number of screenshots is under 100. Once the screenshot has been taken, users are able to further annotate it with the help of a simple but useful sketching tools. The sketching tool provides tools to add lines, arrow, draw freehand, and a use of smart drawing that automatically convert drawn line into shapes. We have provided a way to easily manage the screenshot within your app and then share the screenshot with other users using email, text, or any application that supports image file. And if you're working in a disconnected environment, you can even capture and annotate the screenshot offline and then share with others when you have connectivity. We have also immensely improved the ability to view layer pop-ups as configured in the web maps. The web map consumed within the map viewer can have one or multiple layers. These layers may be configured with pop-up option in ArcGIS Online or Enterprise. In addition to pop-up with display attribute, media, and attachment, we also now support pop-up with arcade expression and custom attribute display. This will give you more complete experience when discovering through pop-ups. Map Viewer also support secure access to your portal using Integrated Windows Authentication or IWA. This makes it easier for users to connect in an integrated Windows Enterprise environment and access your organizational web map and its layer within the application. You can also now perform a feature search based on attribute value for any layer within MMPK. This is an addition to the place search based on the configure locator within MMPK. The next thing I want to cover is what's new in Quick Report template. The first one is quick entry using save entries. Multiple users have asked for this feature. They would like to carry over the same values from multiple fields to the subsequent reports during data collection and submission to save time. When entering the value for the first time, you will get an option to save those entry. Once saved, those values can be retrieved locally for the next set of data collection and reports. This saves a lot of time and effort when collecting features multiple times which has a similar value. We have also added a new summary page before submitting a report. The summary page is a brand new addition to the template. It lets the user review and edit the report before they submit the updates to the feature service. This provides user a comprehensive single-page review of feature geometry, attachment, and their attribute values. At this point, the user can choose to make edits or continue to move forward with the report for either submission or saving it as a draft locally. And then we have also added support for automatic theme based on your operating system setting. Before version 4.3, Quick Report had an option to select between dark or light theme. In this release, we are further enhancing this feature by automatically detecting the theme color based on your operating system setting for mobile or desktop platform. Of course, the user always had an option to override that by manually selecting the theme color the same way it worked in the previous version. Moving on to what's new in AppStudio Player. Earlier last year, AppStudio introduced a new way to personalize AppStudio Player by creating a custom user profile. Profile gives you the ability to control the content and appearance of AppStudio Player. These profiles are managed by configuring a group in your ArcGIS organization. In this release, we made it easier to apply and manage profiles in AppStudio Player. Previously, this was only available through Uplink. We have also added more share apps options. We have improved the overall app sharing experience. AppStudio Player now allows you to share or remove AppStudio app from group. You can also share the app through an AppLink URL. This lets others directly open a specific app in Player by simply tapping on the link. And the same functionality that we add in Quick Report is also added to AppStudio Player, is to auto-detect the theme based on the device setting. And you can also manually change the player theme under the setting page. AppStudio Player is being used more and more in the enterprise environment. We have added the support for MDM with Manage App Configuration setting. The app configurations allow you to remotely configure the player portal URL and portal name in the sign-in page header. And for the first time, AppStudio Player is now available to download and install from the Microsoft Store. If you'd like to learn more about all of this new feature in AppStudio Player, you can take a look at the blog link that I have shared in the bottom of the slide. The next topic I want to cover is the update on the underlying ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Qt that we have in AppStudio. We are working very closely with the Runtime SDK for Qt team to always have the latest version in AppStudio. The latest one we have is version 100.10. With this update, it comes with the support for the new ArcGIS platform to support the new API keys to consume the premium services. AppStudio is positioned to be the low-code, no-code solution for ArcGIS platform. In the 100.10 release, Runtime SDK has added so many new functionality, including utility network update, improved offline workflow, support for high accuracy GPS location by supporting NMEA parsing, and many more. To learn more, check the links posted in the bottom of the slide and other sessions from ArcGIS Runtime team during this conference. I think that's all I have from my side. I'm going to pass the rest of the time to Shobna.
Thank you, Irwin. I'm really excited to talk about some of the new features we have added in AppStudio Desktop and AppFramework. Before we look into the details on what's new, let's take a quick moment to talk about what is AppStudio Desktop. AppStudio comes with everything you need to start creating mobile and desktop apps. AppStudio Desktop is one of the key components of the AppStudio product. It includes a set of productivity tools to help with app development. You can create new apps from a range of app templates provided. We also provide templates for Esri apps like Survey123 and Quick Capture so that you can customize these apps to extend the functionality or to provide a look and feel that matches your organization's theme. We support Qt Creator and Visual Studio Code IDE for app development. You can upload, share, and build your apps from AppStudio Desktop. Let's now take a look at some of the recent enhancements made in AppStudio Desktop. The first update I want to talk about is the support for building Android app bundle using AppStudio's CloudMake and LocalMake tools. Some of you might have seen a warning message on Google Play Console recommending to upload Android app bundle instead of APK files. Android app bundle is Android's new official publishing format that offers a more efficient way to build and release your app to Google Play. Using AppStudio 5.0, you can now build this new format by selecting the Android App Bundle checkbox in the AppStudio's Make tool as shown in the screenshot. Android App Bundle is a file with .aab file extension. Google Play uses your app bundle to generate and serve optimized APKs for each device configuration. So, only the code and resources that are needed for a specific device are downloaded to run your app. This means your app users will get a smaller and more optimized app downloads without the unused code and resources needed for other devices. An app bundle cannot be deployed to a device directly. It's a publishing format for Google Play. After uploading an app bundle, Google Play has everything it needs to build and sign the app's APKs and will serve them to users. This new model results in smaller apps that take less time to download and uses less space on the device. We have made a few big updates under the hood. Qt Framework version has been updated from Qt 5.13.1 to Qt 5.15.2. Qt 5.15 comes with a long list of new features and also introduces some major changes to how Android apps are being built. We have taken care of these changes on the CloudMake build environment. There are also a few new QML language features introduced in Qt 5.15. Some of them are required properties, which allows to enforce a value to be set for a property. Inline components allow you to use the QML component type in property declarations. Nullish coalescing is a handy logical operator which returns its right side operand when its left side operand is null or undefined. Qt Web Engine has been updated to Chromium 80, which comes with a lot of new features. You can find more details about these in Qt documentation. As Erwin mentioned earlier, we have also updated the ArcGIS Runtime version used in AppStudio to the recently released Runtime 100.10. iOS and macOS apps are now being built using Xcode 12 on the CloudMake build servers. Starting from April 2021, all iOS apps submitted to the App Store must be built with Xcode 12. We have taken care of this requirement in the AppStudio 5.0 release. Windows apps built using AppStudio can now be installed on top of an existing installation of the app. To enable this feature in your Windows app setups, you have to edit the appinfo.json file in your app project and add a new property called allow override under the deployment.desktop section. This appinfo property specifies whether the installation can proceed when a previous installation of the app is detected. This feature will be very useful if you are making frequent releases of your app. Users of your app will be able to install it easily without having to uninstall a previous version. We have added a new experience in AppStudio Desktop for licensing. You can now sign in with one ArcGIS Online account to create and share apps and use a different account to get an AppStudio Developer Edition license for accessing features like CloudMake. This enhancement provides greater flexibility to users who use different ArcGIS Online organizations to manage content. AppStudio now includes support for the language Slovak. We have also made some right-to-left layout and localization improvements. Local make and advanced configuration tools have been updated as per Qt 5.15.2 requirements. For example, we now use Visual Studio 2019 for building Windows apps as per the Qt requirements. Let's now look into some of the new enhancements made in AppFramework. For those of you who are not familiar, AppFramework is a set of custom QML plugins provided with AppStudio. It provides useful functions and features as easy-to-use QML components. We take care of the cross-platform differences and provide a unified QML API so that you can write the code once for your app and deploy to multiple platforms. It's now possible to use location data when the app is running in background on Android 11. Some of the common use cases for using this capability are logging location data continuously for capturing track logs, geofencing, and triggering notification when you enter an area of interest. Up until Android 9, there was no difference between requesting foreground and background location permission. With the recent privacy changes introduced in Android 10 and 11, apps should now perform incremental location permission requests. Foreground location permission has to be requested first, and then background location permission has to be requested separately later. The first step to get background location working on Android is to enable the background location capability for the app in AppStudio settings. Foreground location permission is automatically requested by AppFramework when an app starts using the Position Source AppFramework component for capturing location. Once the foreground access is granted, if background location access is required, app needs to display a custom dialog with an explicit message explaining the use of background location. When the user agrees, AppFramework permission dialog has to be invoked to bring up the system permission dialog shown in the screenshot. We have added support for working with the new Android Content URI format. Content URI is the symbolic name of a file or folder that gets selected in the native Android file picker. A lot of enhancements have been made in the file handling AppFramework components like file info, file folder, file, and URL info to support this new Android Content URI format. The new features we added in AppFramework are mostly driven by user requirements and are also based on the requests from our internal Esri app teams. This is one such example. The recently introduced file question type in Survey 123 heavily relies on this Android Content URI enhancements. We have added a new component called Brightness Contrast Filter in the AppFramework Video Filters plugin. This new API provides a way for an app to change video output by allowing brightness and contrast to be modified before passing it on to another filter. When used in conjunction with another video filter, it can result in improving the image processing in that video filter. For example, when used with barcode video filter, it can improve the scanning of barcodes. CSVs are a common input and output file type for many applications. To make reading of CSV files easier, we have added a new read CSV file method in file folder AppFramework component, which parses CSV files using the Internet Standard RFC 4180. The options parameter is a set of properties that alter the behavior of parsing the CSV file. The documentation link provided here describes the options supported in detail. AppFramework SQL component also now uses the Internet Standard RFC 4180 for improved virtual table handling of CSV files. AppFramework SQL plugin allows to query the data in CSV files by creating a linked table in a SQL database. Only the metadata, for example, the CSV file path, is stored in the SQLite database, with the content remaining in the CSV file. The advantage of using this technique is that it provides access to the CSV data via the SQLite query engine, which is very powerful. The Management App Framework plugin has been updated to provide support for app config on Windows through the use of Windows registry subkeys and values. Similar to the MDM app config support that was previously introduced for iOS and Android platforms, it's now possible to pre-configure app properties on Windows. We have enhanced the managed app configuration.value method to look up values in the registry on Windows. The registry path can be configured in appinfo.json file as shown in the screenshot. System administrators would then push out the settings across the enterprise via Group Policy Management System to pre-configure properties like portal URL. We have introduced a new accessibility component in the AppFramework platform plugin. Accessibility in software is making applications usable for people with different abilities. Considering accessibility while designing the user experiences for your app gives more people an opportunity to use your app. Accessibility is a vast topic. Some examples of accessibility measures are high contrast user interface with special color and font. The AppFramework Accessibility API currently detects the options listed here. This can be used to change the behavior of your app based on operating system level options. In AppStudio 4.4, which was released in December, we introduced a new AppFramework plugin called TensorFlow for offering machine learning support. This plugin is currently a beta feature. AppStudio uses the open source TensorFlow framework for adding machine learning support. TensorFlow is an end-to-end open source platform for machine learning. The TensorFlow Lite C++ library that we use in AppStudio enables on-device machine learning inference with low latency and a small binary size. TensorFlow Lite works with a huge range of devices, which makes the AppFramework TensorFlow plugin work on all the supported desktop and mobile platforms. This new plugin is designed to both analyze a static image from a local or remote image source, and also it will support processing the live video output from a camera to detect objects that match the trained data in the TensorFlow Lite model. To learn more about this exciting new feature, we encourage you to watch the on-demand session, AppStudio and TensorFlow Lite, Machine Learning on Edge Devices. Storage Info API has been improved to automatically update the mounted volumes list when a removable storage is mounted or removed from the device. We have also added an eject method for ejecting removable devices. AppStudio 5.0 includes many security improvements. The OpenSSL version used has been updated to the latest version released, which is 1.1.1i. Secure Storage implementation on Android now uses a stronger encryption algorithm. Qt 5.15 also includes many security updates in the third-party libraries used. The AppFramework OpenURL externally method opens the provided URL in an external app. This method has been now improved to support app links, URL scheme, Android content URI, and file URLs. Camera dialog capture to location method has been improved to accept a file URL or folder URL as input. I'll now demonstrate an exciting project that we are currently working on in AppStudio. The functionality that I'll be showing now will be available in a future release of AppStudio. We are working on adding support for push notifications. A notification is a message that pops up on the user's device. Notifications can be triggered locally by an open application, or they can be pushed from a server to the user even when the app is not running. They allow your users to opt into timely updates and allow you to effectively engage users with customized content. We are working with ArcGIS Online team and will be using their REST API for enabling push notification support in AppStudio apps. Here is a simple demo of push notifications sent to an AppStudio app running on Android and iOS devices. On clicking the push notification, the AppStudio app will be automatically launched, and the app will receive a set of key value pairs from the notification, which can then be used to determine the nature of the notification received and update accordingly. We use the Apple Push Notification Service on iOS and Firebase on Android. App publishers can send push notifications at any time, even when the app is not active and running. For app publishers, push notifications are a great way to speak directly to a user. That's all I have for sharing today. I hope you found this information useful. Thank you. Over to you, Irvin.
Thank you, Shobna. I am personally looking forward for the push notification to come out. That's all we have for this session. Thank you for your time. If you have any feedback or suggestion, please feel free to send an email to appstudiofeedback@esri.com or ask in GeoNet community. You can also follow us on Twitter and let us know if you have built an app in AppStudio. We would love to get in touch and add those into the showcase website. I also want to highlight there are others AppStudio session in this conference, introduction session, on-demand session on TensorFlow and machine learning, and creating custom app using AppStudio template. We also would like to remind you to share your feedback for the session by clicking on the session survey link directly below this video. Thank you. Hey, thank you everyone for joining from all over the world to our ArcGIS App Studio What New session. Uh, I First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Erwin Sukianto. I'm the product engineer and product evangelist in App Studio. I have with me
Hello.
Shobna.
Hello, I'm Shobna Suresh, one of the developers working in the ArcGIS AppStudio team. Hello, everyone.
We also have Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris LeSueur, the product manager for AppStudio, working as a moderator for some of these questions here.
All right, I guess let's get to it.
All right, we had a few questions come in. We'll start here with this top one. AppStudio versus Web App Builder, what is the difference?
Okay, we could probably answer this together, Chris.
Yeah.
To me, the main difference is AppStudio and Web Builder. AppStudio, it's the Esri low-code, no-code solution for creating native apps, and Web Builder is the solution from Esri, low-code, no-code also to create a web application. Also, we would like to point out that maybe for some of you who have used Web Builder, and there's a concept of widget in Web Builder. In App Studio, we don't have such widget. We have a lot of configuration setting that you can use to configure your app so that it can look and feel like your own app. You have anything to add to that, Chris?
I would just say that, right, it's you got to think about who's the audience and what devices they're going to use it on. If they need to use it, they want it on a mobile device, they want to get it from the App Store, they want to take data offline, they want to connect to a external GNSS, well, that's AppStudio. That's easy. If this is just something you want to get a quick map and some information out to the public or out to some other individuals in your organization, look at Web App Builder. It's super easy to configure those widgets and publish that as a service within seconds. So it just really depends on. They're two different solutions. They both are kind of a low code, no code, get you up and going very quickly with building apps. One's for that native app, one's for that web application. All right. In what situations would I use AppStudio editor template over the field maps solution?
All right. It sounds like this is also a question for both of us, Chris.
Yeah.
To me, they are just different. Field map solution is an out-of-the-box solution from Esri. So if you would like to use an out-of-the-box solution and everything you need to do are offered in those solution, I think that is the best way to move forward. But if you think that you want to have your own branding into the solution, or maybe it is missing some functionality, or has too much functionality, I think that the App Studio editor template, as you call it, is the solution for you, where you can create your own apps based on your own organization branding and add your own functionality, or even remove some of the functionality that are available.
Yeah, that's good. I think the key piece to that would be if you want to create an app for the public, that they're going to publicly offer data. We have a quick report template, which is great for people, submitting data, the public submitting data without needing an ArcGIS Online account or logging into a secure service. Like, hey, I want to show where this pothole is. I want to identify a tree, and so that crowdsourcing or citizen science type of data collection, AppStudio is fantastic for that, for sure. All right, this is going to be one for Shobna, I have a feeling. How can I upgrade versions of ArcGIS Runtime or Qt? Is reinstalling AppStudio the easiest way?
That's correct. So because we bundle both ArcGIS Runtime and Qt libraries with AppStudio, and we have documented the versions of Qt and Runtime that's being used in every version of AppStudio. So the easiest way is to update the AppStudio installation on your machine. And also, if you want to build your app, the latest version will be available on CloudMake. So the easiest option is to update the AppStudio installation on your machine.
And haven't we been working on some over-the-top install capabilities, so you don't have to uninstall? Yeah. So you don't want to uninstall desktop every time to then reinstall the next one. We can install over the top, which is always
correct. So in AppStudio 5.0, we have added support for installing over top for the apps that you build, but we are working actively for adding that support for AppStudio Desktop itself, and that support will be available in a future release.
Yeah, I know we've had people ask about that, and we're all looking forward to that for sure. All right. When does the push notification come out? I don't know if you're talking to the right people here, so let's see. We want our best guess. I'm not sure. We're excited that it's moving forward.
And it's good to hear good interest from you. So definitely that helps to prioritize, and we are actively working on it, and we'll soon see how soon we can deliver it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we are excited that, yeah, there's obviously people interested in that. How easy is it to integrate AppStudio workflow with other app development frameworks and platforms that already is being used by the app development team?
So with AppStudio, if you're talking about, because in AppStudio, we support QML JavaScript-based app development. And if you're talking about external JavaScript libraries, then definitely that's something you can integrate if it's not relying on web features like DOM integration. But if you're talking about any native libraries which are based on C++, Java, then there's extra steps. That's also something we have tried, and we have a tool called Local Make that's supported in AppStudio. So probably that's what you'd need to explore and see how well the third-party libraries that you're looking at integrates with AppStudio. But the first thing to look at is how well that library works with Qt framework, because AppStudio is based on Qt framework. And if that library can integrate and work with Qt apps, it's possible to integrate those kind of libraries with AppStudio using Local Make.
Yeah. And I just want to add that, I said that your development, that are already being used by your app development team. If your app development team is already building on top of Esri's, tools and web maps and ArcGIS Online, well, that's fantastic, right? Those same web maps and services that you're using it online are going to work inside of AppStudio as services. So that is one thing. If you're already kind of in this Esri ArcGIS ecosystem, man, we can, get up and going very quickly on building apps with AppStudio. Where can I find the documentation on Qt, like demo docs?
Okay, I can take this answer. So the best place to get for a Qt demo is from the Qt website. I'm going to actually share a story map that we create that lists all of those information. We in AppStudio team have also created a lot of samples that is inside AppStudio Desktop, and also a lot of workshop that we have done in the past that also in the story map link that I'm going to share. So if you would like to read the API reference and then all of those information, the best place is to get it from the Qt website, and they also have a QML books. That is the best place. If you like to get some kind of a workshop recording and video, the best place is actually our workshop. I think AppStudio workshop that's been recorded on YouTube, and I'm going to paste that link into the chat window right now.
Okay, thank you. What are the ways of monitoring the app development, the app developed using AppStudio? Like how many users are using and how many functionalities are used very often? So I guess talking about doing, app analytics is what I would assume. What kind of app analytics?
Okay, I can also probably answer this question. So this is probably one of the internal information, but I think this can be shared with people. So in AppStudio Player, we have a built-in analytic tools that are basically, if you sign in from which country, we detect that. Which locale are you using? Are you signing in from iOS or Android or yada yada yada? So use the way, like every click or every event, it's actually sending a request to a feature service that is in ArcGIS Online, and then we have a dashboard internally that we can see how many people are actually using Player today, how many are logging in through ArcGIS Online or Enterprise if we can access it, and from which country we are using. And there are several other analytics. So the best way to do analytic is to if you want, you can use feature service, or there are a lot of analytic database out there that you can use, and they give you a simple URL. So you click on that button, and then you do a network request to update that.
And I also want to add that if you have published your app to app stores like with a Google Play and iOS stores, those app stores also provide great dashboards for app analytics. So that's also something that you can take advantage of.
I think Chris probably freeze right now, so I could probably open the next question here. The next question is it possible to reuse forms built in Survey 123 in app completely built in AppStudio?
Yes. So yeah, I'll answer that. So definitely yes, because as you know, Survey 123 is an Esri app built with AppStudio. So we also provide a complete Survey 123 app template in the new app section of AppStudio Desktop. So if you have forms created already with Survey 123, you can get started with the Survey 123 template that's available in AppStudio Desktop, and to customize the look and feel. And you can, like Irwin mentioned earlier, you can even remove functionalities that you don't need. And then probably I'd suggest the first place to get started is using the Survey 123 app template that's available in AppStudio Desktop.
All right. It is.
Sorry,
It
I'm
is.
back. I'm back. Yeah, my connection blew out on me. I'm back.
Yeah. It is actually good that Chris is back because the next question is actually for Chris. Uh, the next question is: can you confirm when I would have to spend extra money to buy additional Qt subscription? My current app will be free on the App Store, but I charge by customers to develop that. My future native app will cost $1.99 for each download from the store. Do either or both of these require extra dollar?
All right. This is a licensing question, and specifically Qt licensing. And we didn't really go into this. If you're more interested in this, you can rewatch the intro session where we talked more about licensing. But I will let you know in this specific situation. So you have to buy a Qt full Qt commercial license if you are creating a revenue generating app. And in that first situation where the app is free, but you may have been consulted to develop that is not considered revenue generating. You don't need that. It's not continually revenue generating, I guess. You don't need that to the commercial license. For the other, if you're charging $1.99 in the App Store for the app, yes, you do need the Qt commercial SDK. You need to buy the Qt commercial license from the Qt company.
All right.
All right.
Go ahead,
Do
Chris.
you have do you have any sample for sketching tools for editing features in AppStudio?
All right, I will answer that question. So depends on what sketching you're looking for. But if I were to guess, you wanted to actually edit or edit geometry of a feature in feature layer. The answer to the question, currently we don't. We don't have that, but we have identified it as something that we need to work on, and we're actually working together with ArcGIS Runtime team right now to come up with the sketching tools sample or capability in runtime. But if you're looking for a sketching tool that simply drawing annotation, we actually have that and has been added to the map viewer template right now. So
Fantastic. Other question: can we expect AppStudio to work with ArcGIS Enterprise?
all right, I can also probably answer that question. Yes, AppStudio app will work with ArcGIS Enterprise, meaning that, for example, AppStudio Player will work both with if you log into ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise, and AppStudio apps in it that run AppStudio Player or as independent can consume services from both ArcGIS Online and Enterprise. I do wanted to point out that if you're using if your license if you're using ArcGIS Enterprise license to log into AppStudio Desktop, there is one functionality that probably wouldn't work for you, which is the CloudMake functionality to create a build app of your app. The reason being is that CloudMake can only access your app if it is in ArcGIS Online. A lot of people do it this way where they have all of their environment in ArcGIS Enterprise, but when they do the Cloud Make Bill and then they sign in using one ArcGIS Online user. So.
All right. So we don't have any other questions now. If you have any questions, type them in. Oh wait, here we've got one quick. What language do I use to write apps, and can I use Python?
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Shabna.
Yeah. So currently we support QML JavaScript as the primary language for writing apps in AppStudio, but Qt has now introduced support for Python, and that's something we are seeing and how to make it available in AppStudio, but that's very early in the research stage. So we'll need to see how to create Python bindings for all our custom QML plugins for AppFramework. So there's something that's we have started looking into, but there's no committed release date or anything, because we need to get a better understanding of what's available for Python support in the Qt framework before committing to anything in AppStudio. But currently, yeah, it's QML JavaScript. That's what you can use today for creating apps.
QML JavaScript. Yeah, the Python thing, we've been asked that before, and it's actually kind of exciting that it's purely an R&D kind of right now, looking at it, if it's possible. But I know that we have a lot of Python developers out there in the Esri community, and that would be really cool. So it's kind of exciting that it's a possibility. We're looking at it. Another question: can I customize AppStudio Player, and if so, what can I customize?
All right. I can probably answer that question. Yes. So there are multiple ways to customize AppStudio Player. The very first one is, I mean, before you customize it, you should look into what we call as the profile system in AppStudio Player, where you do all of those customization as a group in ArcGIS Online, and then the look and feel of your AppStudio Player will change, and then also the app that are listed in the AppStudio Player. That is the first thing. The second thing is the AppStudio Player source code is available in AppStudio Desktop under Enterprise Template, just like Survey 123 and Quick Capture. So you can customize AppStudio Player like your own app. You can white label it. You can make it like your own app, and you can actually change the functionality because you have the source code of the AppStudio Player. I can point out that we are working with a huge corporation in Texas who have a custom AppStudio Player, and they have published it, and now they have a capability to publish app, meaning that sharing the app in the player without going to the App Store again, because then they already have a player, and then simply sharing an app inside AppStudio Player.
All right. In terms of AppStudio Make of APKs, how can I expand the capability for more Android devices in the Google Play Store? Actually, I only got 50% of the total Android devices. Huh. That is the total Android devices. That is probably we are supporting the latest kind of versions of Android or level of the SDK tools that they want us to, and then by default it will probably, some of those will not be supported.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this question was also raised in one of the channel Runtime SDK. I'm just guessing here. Is it regarding the support with x86 Android APK? And Shopna, I think we actually stopped supporting x86 as far as Android 4.4, right?
That's correct. So currently we support ARM v7 and ARM 64 as the build targets for Android. So it's possible. One thing to double check is, did you upload both the ARM v7 and ARM 64 APKs to the store? Because ARM v7 will support a lot of 32-bit ARM devices. So that's something will give you a good coverage of Android devices. So I'd suggest, recommend that currently, at least if you upload ARM v7 and ARM 64 is APKs, that would give you a good coverage of Android devices.
All right, that's our last question. Actually, I think it's a good time. That's a good question to bring up in the chat in the channel system, and to engage with us and talk with us. So if you want to continue the conversation with the AppStudio team throughout the conference, go to the actually in the platform channel. If you go to the conference website, and you can see where you can chat with other different groups or ask questions. And we're in the platform channel. Ask us some AppStudio questions, and then if you'd like an actual kind of one-on-one video chat, we could show a demo or talk about your projects. You can direct message, put a little message in that channel that you would like to speak with someone on the AppStudio team. We'll direct message you, and we can set that up and have those conversations, continue those conversations with you.